Well, guys, man, should the Minnesota Vikings move on from J.J. McCarthy? We got a lot to talk about, man. The Vikings come off of a season where they went 9-8, didn't make the playoffs, was tied with the Detroit Lions. Even though we did knock the Lions out the playoffs, we daggered the Cowboys' hopes of getting in the playoffs. We saw a glimpse of what this team could do. But is J.J. McCarthy the right answer for the Minnesota Vikings? You are now tuned into a brand new episode of the Simple Ball Dropping Podcast. I'm your host and the man behind the mic, K-Sap. Well, we got to talk about it right after this.
Let me put you on game. These other podcasts out here talking that shit, but ain't repping the same. It's my bro K-Sap, chopping up topics for your optics. From politics to your top picks. Tune in, you gotta watch this. Exclusive material for your radio, stereo, pumping high definition. Stop what you doing and listen. We smashing all competition. You better jump on this wave. Somebody pass me a mic, man. I got something to say.
Well, guys, you know I got something to say, man. And the Minnesota Vikings, my Minnesota Vikings, man. What are we going to do with J.J. McCarthy? Is it time for J.J. McCarthy to move on? What is the game plan? Now, you know, in the offseason, we fired our general manager, Hawaii Adolfo Mensu, and I think he was used as an scapegoat because what happened was in 2024, we had the likes of Sam Darnold, and you know what Sam Darnold did for the Minnesota Vikings? Then he went on to the Seattle Seahawks in free agency, and he won a Super Bowl. Is Kevin O'Connell hell-bent on J.J. McCarthy? Is that Kevin O'Connell's project, J.J. McCarthy? Is that why he was so naive not to sign back Sam Darnold in free agency, to bring him back and let J.J. McCarthy sit behind him for one more year? Now, we know J.J. McCarthy, his rookie year, he was injured. So last year was actually his rookie year. He started 10 games for the Minnesota Vikings. And is Justin Jefferson becoming frustrated with the quarterback play? We saw what happened this year. We had the likes of Carson Wentz because J.J. McCarthy was banged up. Carson Wentz came in there. He showed some glimpse, but then he got injured. Season-ending injury where he had to have surgery. And then J.J. McCarthy comes in and goes up and down. Then he gets hurt again, and we bring in Nick Mullins. And we got a prolific receiver in Justin Jefferson, and we couldn't even get him the ball. But you saw what Justin Jefferson and Sam Darnold did in 2024. Straight out the gate against San Francisco. They was on time and on target. Now, a lot of people around the association of the National Football League believe J.J. McCarthy makes a lot of ill-advised throws. Some of his throws are not on time and on target. He misses a lot of wide open receivers. I've seen him miss Jordan Addison a couple times. I've seen him miss Justin Jefferson a lot of times. And I've seen frustration in the eyes of Justin Jefferson. Well, we saw the interview with Justin Jefferson talking about he was surprised that he got 1,000 yards receiving this year with the up and down quarterback play. And we've seen what Justin Jefferson is capable of doing. He's a top 3 receiver in this league. We see what he's capable of doing. We saw what he did when he broke on the scene his rookie year. He eclipsed Randy Moss's rookie record for Minnesota. Randy Moss came in, he had 1,313 yards. What did Justin Jefferson do? He eclipsed that with 1,400. So he came on the scene ready to go. But he did that with the likes of Kirk Cousins. And then he did it the likes of Sam Darnold. But this J.J. McCarthy project, we got to look into that, man. Should the Vikings move on from J.J. McCarthy? That is the telltale. Now, I was listening to First Thing First, man. And they was talking about what the Vikings should do with J.J. McCarthy. Should they, be patient and bring him along? But you don't want to ruin Justin Jefferson's best years of his NFL playing career. So we're going to take a listen to what the guys was talking about on First Thing First. And it featured one of the Vikings ex-wide receivers and Greg Jennings had some things to say. So let's take a listen to what they was talking about. So guys, this is critical to the maturation process of JJ McCarthy and what the Minnesota Vikings are going to do going forward. Let's take a listen.
Now, for a last place team, I have to say, I got a lot going for you. 9 wins last season, some really impressive things on defense. You just have this one glaring issue that's jumping off the chart, but it's an important one. It's the quarterback. JJ McCarthy's been a main story. You got to figure out a way to make him a side story this upcoming year, because I think that they are going to commit to J.J. McCarthy for this year. They'll bring in some level of competition, but I don't think it's going to be as big of a swing as some Vikings fans would want. J.J. finished the last 4 games pretty solid, so I think they traded up for him. I think they're going to ride with J.J. If you look at the Minnesota defense from last year, last 2 weeks of the season, they held Detroit to 10 points. They held Green Bay to 3 points. Brian Flores, they were able to retain him. He's the highest paid defensive coordinator in football. They won 9 games. If they can just figure out a way to make J.J. McCarthy not the only thing we talk about with this franchise, Greg, you live in Minnesota, they're not that far away from being a very dangerous football team.
Yeah, you're spot on. I mean, there's no surprise that you have to fix this situation at the quarterback position, whether that's continuing to develop who he is, building his confidence, encouraging him to just be more and not necessarily force the ball down the field, but what being more looks like is what we saw with Caleb in running the offense and making it look smooth, being on time, being on schedule. A large part of his success is going to weigh on whether or not they can have an established running game, because when you have a young quarterback that's not as seasoned, that has inaccuracies about his throwing at times, not on the same page with his receivers, you have to be able to turn around and hand the ball off. If they can do that, they might get a little bit more production out of J.J. McCarthy, but he has a lot of work to do.
I like that you threw up the defensive stats, because they do have a damn good defense, but the interior of their defensive line was horrible. All right, they struggle mightily to stop the run.
People used to just run straight up the gut on us.
In this division, when you know you got the Lions and you know what the Bears look like running the ball, you have to find some big uglies in the middle to plug those A gaps, and they simply didn't have it this year. They're going to have to go in the draft and get some big.
Now, you heard what the guys had to say, man, and it's kind of key on what they said, man. And I'm like with Greg Jennings, man, and the guy that broke it down earlier when he was talking about we're not that far off, but we got to address the quarterback situation. I'm asking you guys, is it time to move away from J.J. McCarthy? J.J. McCarthy, to me, man, he's like 2 or 3 years away. You don't just want to throw him on the back burner, but we need to bring somebody in there. And, you know, there's talks out there bringing Kirk Cousins back, Kyler Murray. That would be good quarterbacks for J.J. McCarthy to set behind, because Justin Jefferson is growing visibly frustrated. And I've seen that in games where he's taking his helmet off because J.J. McCarthy has missed a lot of throws, and it's kind of asinine that you got a prolific receiver in Justin Jefferson, and he only had 2 touchdowns this year. So let's take a look at, you know, Justin Jefferson as a whole since he's been in the league, and look at the drop-off he had this year with the likes of Carson Wentz and J.J. McCarthy throwing in the ball. Now, we're going to take a look at my man Justin Jefferson. Now, Justin Jefferson's stats as he came into the league in 2020, he had 88 receptions, 1,400 yards, 15.9 yards a catch, 7 TDs, which he broke Randy Moss's, you know, receiving yards his rookie year. Then 2021, 108 receptions, 16-16, 15-yard average, 10 touchdowns. 2022, 128, 1809 for 14.1. That's all with Kirk Cousins. 8 TDs. 2023, 68 reception yards because he was hurt, had the hamstring, for 1,074. And that's on less games played. 15.8 yards average, 5 touchdowns. 2024, 103 receptions, 1533, 14.9 average, 10 TDs. This is where the drop-off is this year, 2025. This is what happened. 84 receptions for 1,048, where he said he was surprised that he got over 1,000 yards. 12.5 yard average, lowest in his career. 2 TDs all season long. Now check this out. Justin Jefferson's worst season. 2025. Look at this. It's glaring. It stands out. 1.78 yards per route. 25.1% targets per route. A negative 0.2. You know why? We're going to look at the quarterback. We're going to look at J.J. McCarthy. Now look at J.J. McCarthy's stats. In 2025, J.J. McCarthy played 10 games. He passed for 1,632 yards. He had 11 passing TDs, 4 rushing, 12 interceptions, a completion rate of 57.6%, a QBR of 35.6. And that's what J.J. McCarthy brought to the table. Now, we saw a glimpse of J.J. McCarthy. The first game against the Chicago Bears brought us back in the fourth quarter. Then the last 2 games, he did some things against the Lions and the Cowboys. But the crazy thing about it is that is what is alarming, because he shows flashes, but I just don't think it's going to work out in Minnesota, man. Is it time to move on from J.J. McCarthy in Minnesota? I know everybody out there in Skol Land wants to know, is it time for J.J. McCarthy to move on and for us to get a prolific quarterback in the system? Do we bring back Kirk Cousins? Do we bring in Kyler Murray? Y'all guys let me know what y'all think down in the comment section. And if you're not subscribed to the channel, do me a favor, hit the subscribe button, turn your post notifications on so you know every time Simply Ball drops another hot banger. Oh yeah, just in case I forgot. Tell a friend to tell a friend. It might not be for you, but it might be for them. And this is going to wrap up another episode of the Simply Ball Dropping Podcast. I'm your host and the man behind the mic, K-Sap. We're going to catch you on the next one. Deuces.
Thanks for listening to the Simply Ball Dropping Podcast. Be sure to subscribe, like, and share on all major platforms.
That's all, folks.